Okay. Posting. Point a trigger on promotion. Mhm.
All right, here we go. Hello and welcome to the 1985 FM podcast. It's May 26th, 2014. I'm your host, Randy Giudice, and this week I'm joined by Lawrence Lawson, Vasilis Siskos,
Hello.
Jeremy Conrad,
Hello.
Nathan Meir,
Hey, how's it going?
and Brendan O'Connell.
Hi there.
How's everyone doing?
Doing well, doing well.
Doing good.
Are you nice and tired? Big week coming up.
Yeah,
Pretty much fucking beat.
we're too tired to do 85, so I guess 84.75 we'll have to do.
We're gonna put off 85 as long as we possibly can. Next is gonna be 84.8. I'm pretty sure.
Right. We should do like at least like 10 decimal places.
Then it's going to be 87.5.1.
Oh no, we're never even gonna make it to 85. That's what I'm thinking.
That's the goal.
That'll be our legacy.
Right. Yeah. I had a funny situation. The first time playing video games actually paid off in the real world, I think.
Mhm.
Really?
My cable TV went out, and I had the cable guy come by, and surprisingly enough, he was able to come the next day, which is really rare with Time Warner. And he sees my Xbox One inside the bedroom, and he's like, "Oh, are you excited for Watch Dogs?" Yeah, I'm pretty excited for Watch Dogs. He's all, "Man, I'm such a big gamer." I'm like, whenever someone usually says that, I'm like, whatever. Sure you are, everyone's a big
Sure
gamer.
you are.
And then he starts talking about stuff, and he's saying like all this stuff. Like, I'm like, "Yeah, I have a video game set." He's like, "Oh, that's cool. What's it called?" And tell him the name. He's like, "Oh, okay, right on." And he starts talking about like all these like little tech specs of like all the games. And I'm like, "Dude, this guy knows more than I do." It was I was like, I'm going excited about this stuff, and I can't even compete with this guy's knowledge, even a little bit. But point being is, he looks at the modem we use to run the show. He's like,
Mhm.
"Oh, there's a way better modem out there." He's all, "Man, I'm gonna hook you up." I'm like, "Oh, really? Really?" He's all,
What?
"Yeah." So he ends up giving us like a way better modem that has a way better, like a 300 megabyte download and 20 megabyte upload, like taking advantage of the service we have here. But this was the first time where I felt like,
That is
playing video games.
awesome.
Yeah. So
That is the coolest thing ever.
that is the every once in a
Now,
while.
if it can only get me free drinks,
Yeah.
then we'll be set.
The point is, if you pay $500 for an Xbox, some good might come of it.
Yeah,
Okay.
finally.
The Xbox One finally pays off.
Yeah.
Headlines everywhere.
I asked him about the Kinect camera too. He's all, "It works fine for me." So there you go, confirmed.
Works fine for him. I can argue with that.
Well, a little bit of business before we start the show. The RSS feed that runs our podcast that gets sent to iTunes might go down in the next week as we switch over to a new site. We're doing a lot of data shifting over to a actual WordPress on our own hosted site instead of what we have right now, which is a Squarespace site. Say what you might, Squarespace isn't working for us. So we're going to move everything over to an actual legitimate WordPress site. So the RSS feed might go down for a little bit. But yeah, other than that, yeah, we're just hard at work.
Let's not downplay this. This is a total site relaunch.
It's a
Yeah.
Complete
very big
relaunch.
undertaking.
It's gonna be so much better.
Yeah, it's gonna actually have information you can find. You won't be able to just see the top 3 posts that we've posted in the last 6 months.
It won't be a purgatory of video game news.
No, they actually be able to still reference it. And it's fun bringing back like all these like old episodes. Like I was going through and getting the audio rip for our last E3. My God, we were excited on that episode.
I was listening to the first episode yesterday, and you were actually referencing Watch Dogs.
Was I really?
Yeah, and how it had just been announced, or they had shown some very early footage of it.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I was listening back on some of those old
Man,
episodes.
those are
Green behind the
good times.
So young. Listen to the first episode with Bacillus. That was pretty good.
Yeah.
I think it was an Xbox when Xbox reversed their DRM.
Yep.
Yes. We needed a devil's advocate because everybody agreed with each other and it was too much agreement.
Agreed with everyone else.
He ended
you
up
were
having some
surprised-
intelligent commentary, so.
Not what we were expecting. I remember when we actually got him on the show, we're like, oh no, an Xbox fan, this is gonna be bad. We were expecting a fanboy.
Oh God, no.
Being like, wait,
Xbox 4 Live 2020, 420.
Halo fan 1337. But yeah. So yeah, look for that. Hopefully we'll have the site finished and up and ready to go in the next week. But like I said, there's a lot of like back end stuff that we have to clear up. All right, well, let's get into what we have going on for the week. Start with the first news story. We're talking about the Xbox One June update. The updates just went out, and it has a few significant updates that people have been wanting, namely saving to an external hard drive, instant login for your users. Right now, they have it set in a way that if you're logging on, you have to actually go into a sign-in thing and do it all, especially if they want to use.
Or dance in front of Kinect. You have to like wave your hands in front of Kinect and like stare at Kinect.
Right. You have to
Hey,
do the
look.
Macarena.
Look at me! You see me? Kinect, log me in.
Yeah, so this is probably one of the coolest updates they've had so far, but it's kind of been buggy for me. I mean, I've had instances where the pins get lost and I have to reload everything. How about
Yeah,
you guys?
The biggest bug I've had so far with it was sometimes it will go and you go to My Games and it'll show like 2 copies of Call of Duty or whatever you have installed, and then or you go there and it's missing a game and you know it's installed on the drive but it's not there and you have to power cycle hard reset it to get them to come back. That's the biggest bug I've seen of it so far, except for just some like wonky interface things here and there. But the auto sign-in works fine right now. A couple other things I noticed today, because I've been messing with it all weekend, is ever since launch, since the launch of the system, and if you go back and like if you watch like Giant Bomb's live stream, they complain a lot about the live TV down mixing the audio, the stereo. That was actually quietly fixed in the last monthly update, but that today in this preview update it seems to be working completely. You actually still have to go and set it to surround and reboot your system. That does a hard reboot, but when it comes back up, your live TV will have 5.1 audio finally.
Nice. So the secret is to get
Cool.
it to work, just turn off your Xbox. It's a good rule of thumb. How about you, Vasilis? Have you seen anything on it yet?
I haven't even turned on my Xbox One to update it.
Oh wow, you're supposed
Talking about
all
fanboy
the
over
time.
here.
Yeah, right.
You've lost your title. Boy.
No, we don't need you anymore, Vasilis.
If it had DRM, I'd be all about the update. No, I haven't taken a look. It has. I mean, from the update notes, it looks like it's a step in the right direction, but I haven't tested anything to know if it works for me in some way.
Right.
It's okay. I haven't turned mine on either.
Well, you have to get one.
Oh yeah, mine's on all the time because my TV goes through it, and it's like it's on all the time because when I watch TV, it's on. I mean, I was playing. I tried to play some Forza yesterday because I had a Indy 500 badge you could get in Forza, but I couldn't get into any multiplayer matches to get the badge. So I just went back to watching TV.
So did the new patch also have the semaphore password plugin? No.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
Explain.
Semaphore. I'm not going to explain my joke. Let's move on.
I didn't realize that was supposed to be funny. Oh.
No, it supports the new update supports 2 hard drives, and they say the maximum is 16 terabytes, and
So you should be able to hold 12 games.
the funny thing is there's no 8 terabyte drives in existence.
Well, it's called future proof.
Yeah.
They call that future proof.
Like this is a little off topic, but there's the LG G3 has a micro SD card slot that can hold up to 2 terabytes. I'm like, that's going into theoreticals here.
Yeah, right. That's not coming anytime soon. Just wait till Sony makes one of those and it
A
costs
man can dream.
$1,000.
One thing with the update is people are saying they are seeing some load time improvements by moving their games onto the external drive. So it's only 5 to 10 seconds on some games, but people are starting to think maybe because the slower SATA 2 drive that they have in the Xbox One is not quite as quick as the USB 3 that the external drive uses. So that's one reason to go to external drives, and that's what you can do with the update. When you plug in the drive, you can actually just go and move all your games that are installed on the Xbox internal hard drive onto the external drive pretty easily. People were saying it takes like 10, 12 minutes depending on the game.
That's actually not too bad. I mean, it's a lot cheaper than going with the first-party stuff that they had, the old proprietary stuff. Yeah. All right. Let's see what we got here. Oh, PS Now beta.
Oh, there's one more thing actually with the June update.
I have to change this graphic so people know.
One more thing with the June update. They're doing the real name thing on Xbox One now, and it's unlike if you have a PS4, the way it works to show your real name is most people link to your Facebook account, which you don't have to do, but you actually have to send a real name request to someone. They have to approve it, and then you can see each other's real names. Right. On the Xbox One, you can actually just go down your friends list and select all or select none, and just say which person on your friends list you want to allow to see your real name. So I actually think it works a little bit better on the Xbox One than it does on the PS4.
That's cool.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
Pretty good. Yeah. All right. One other quick. What other practical updates do you think would be a good idea at this point?
Well, the auto sign-in was needed because they're getting ready to Kinect, and then
there were also some controller updates, also, right?
Yeah, apparently there's a audio update for the controller, and which is the funny thing is I'm not going to test it on mine, but since there is controller firmware, I'm wondering if it's possible to brick an Xbox One controller. I had my controller charging today, but I didn't bother to update the firmware on it yet. But yeah, they do those pretty regularly too. There was one when Titanfall came out that adjusted the stick sensitivity, and now there's an audio update for the controller as well.
Right. Hopefully that is something that's going to fix the plug and play with the headset. A lot of times I find that if you plug in the headset in the middle of a game, it just doesn't have that. But does it actually take care of that?
No, I don't know. I haven't tried it yet, but that's a good thing to check because you plug your headset in. If you plug the headset in before you start the game, it's fine. But if you plug it in the middle of the game, it won't work.
Yeah, and that seems like something that should be kind of a node.
I think that is one of the audio update for the controller that one of our commenters was talking about.
All right, hopefully it is. I'll test that later tonight probably.
Beautiful. All right, so moving on, the PS4 Now beta is going a little bit more widespread now. It's been in beta for a little while, but now they're actually starting to make it a little bit larger and people are getting the chance to try the PS3 streaming service. Since I don't think any one of us are actually in this right now, if I'm correct.
Nope. No, I just signed up today.
Oh, you did? Yeah, so I'm not really sure how much we can say about this, and I haven't heard too much feedback about it.
I have a friends list. I have a friend, in real life, not just on my friends list, but who's in the PS3 beta. he hasn't had a chance to get on the PS4 one yet. He's been out of town, but they had some okay games on the PS3 beta, and on the PS4 one, apparently they've added a bunch of games. It has Heavy Fire, Shattered Spear, Luminous, Supernova, Knights, Retrograde, Sacred Citadel, Saints Row the Third, Skullgirls, Sniper Elite, Puppeteer, Eat Them, a couple of the Pixel Junk games, Blaze Blue, a Ben 10 game, Contrast, Nisgaea, D2, Catherine, El Shaddai, Fuel, and Grid. Most of those were on the PS3 one, and it was, I think, just like Ben 10 and El Shaddai are a couple of the newer ones they added.
Yeah, I saw a recent beta footage of Sniper Elite being played, and it's definitely not anywhere near close to final from what I've seen, because apparently the guy that was streaming had a really fast internet connection, but it was dropping frames pretty badly, and the control response was laggy. So it's the interface, it seems to be down pretty well, similar to the PlayStation Store, but the actual performance right now seems to be one of the issues that they need the most work on.
Right. I think when we talked about this is kind of what we expected to a certain degree. We didn't expect it to come out and just be working beautifully. So yeah, I guess it's going to take a little bit of work to be optimal.
Right.
All right, yeah, like I said, there's not much more to say on that. We'll see how it actually gets when it starts opening up to the actual final release, which I think is coming around summer. All right, so this one's pretty funny. Watch Dogs hacks you. The torrent for Watch Dogs got released on the internet a little bit ago. I believe this is from an Australian release or a pre-release or unfinished version. I'm not exactly sure, but the point being is that the torrent, which got out, had malware inside of it that bit mined for coins and ended up actually just ruining people's GPUs, which is ironic for a game like Watch Dogs, and it ends up actually having the pirated copy has malware in it and ends up destroying people's systems.
It's absolutely hilarious that they do that, and it's actually really sneaky because it's the process that's doing the mining is like winlogin.exe instead of winlogon.exe, so it looks like a process that should be running on Windows.
Right.
But it's
Anyone
not.
that didn't know to look for it, I mean, it probably still has it there. I'm surprised this. I'd be wondering if this is like actually more prevalent as we go into the future with viruses. If like we're gonna see this sort of thing where it doesn't actually harm people's computers. And in most people's cases, they won't really notice something like that. But people are actually making a profit off of it, rather than previous virus and malware, which would just wreck somebody's computer.
Well, you would notice someone is mining on your computer because your computer will be running slower than usual, and in times that it shouldn't be. Like it's like, why is this game that's not really that resource heavy running so sluggishly?
Yeah, but I'm saying if they're in not just like on game torrents, if this was like to hit an email torrent where millions of people are getting it, millions of people that aren't playing games all the time on your grandma's computer, which she has running all the time, but she's not ever playing games on it.
Oh, I know, but that's what I'm saying. Like,
It's
all of a
fantastic.
sudden,
I like that
really.
Well, all of a
downloaded Watch Dogs.
That's not.
Watch Dogs.
You yell at Watch Dogs and you get hacked.
Oh god. Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying though. I mean, it's not just games, but like, let's say like you're doing Word, and all of a sudden your computer's running sluggish, and it's not. It shouldn't be. So you're gonna notice a performance drop. It's very, very clear that you have not BitTorrent, you have someone mining on your computer.
Malware will always be found, but the case of this is just very clever, and it makes me kind of appreciate this sort of hacking where I really don't care about other things.
Well, yeah, I mean,
and the irony in it is just delicious.
Yeah, the irony, plus the fact, like you said, it's not a malicious thing. It's this guy who's went out of his way to make the people's unwillingness to pay for video games actually pay off for him.
Yeah.
And of just making him money. So I can only imagine like.
I hope
he's not
that money to
well,
buy
he's not donate.
copy of the game.
Yeah, he's not like donating to charity though. So this guy isn't like a hero by any stretch of the
I'm not
means.
saying he's a hero. You know, it's one of the more clever ways to.
Yeah, it is clever.
Yeah, but no, definitely not a hero.
Clever
Don't be
girl.
like this guy. Be like Charles Barkley or Dennis Rodman. Those are heroes.
So can someone explain to me why Bitcoin is still a thing though? Like how does this work? Like why is this a currency that people care about, and like where can you even spend it anyway?
Okay, it kind of started out.
Oh gosh.
Well, it kind of started out like for like more shady purposes, mostly in Europe. So like drugs and that sort of thing. And then
guns, Silk Road.
Guns, yeah, hookers, that sort of thing.
Because that definitely can't be paid with cash.
Make it rain bitcoins. Like why? I don't understand.
Well, and then the internet caught on to
No
it. Like,
trail.
hey, this is kind of cool. It's an internet currency. So then it got popular on the internet, and people think it's kind of cool. And then you had like just like a couple months ago, you had these people buying up all the high-end GPUs on like Newegg because they were building massive mining rigs.
And they're almost all AMD GPUs, so the price has just skyrocketed.
They skyrocketed, and then something happened where it didn't work quite as well for Bitcoin anymore, and so then they're starting to return all these GPUs, and then there was the Dogecoin, and there was
a bunch of other coins. There's Litecoin, Dogecoin.
The best one was Kanye West,
Kanye
West that pissed off Kanye West.
And then at one point there was also a massive fall from one of the largest traders or exchanges for Bitcoin, which was actually called Mt. Gox, which stood for Magic the Gathering Online Exchange. Yeah, it didn't really start as a Bitcoin thing, but it turned into that, and turns out millions of dollars of Bitcoins were just lost, and they had no way of recovering them, and so they actually filed bankruptcy in Japan, as I believe where they were located. And that caused a huge crash in the market. It was up at one point at nearly $1,000 per Bitcoin. Now it's closer to around $500.
A lot of people had to foreclose on their bit houses.
Yeah,
boy.
I mean,
it's actually
their bit dogs
not a joke.
It's just so bizarre to me. Like, I still don't understand how this is currency that anyone gives a shit about. Like, why would you accept Bitcoin? Like, it's so weird.
Because it has no paper trail. It's instant. It's basically like trading stock, but you're not tied on to anything. Your name is not. It's a risk.
So what exactly? Well, in the sense, okay, because I'm a little bit gray on this as well. Like, what's to stop someone from just writing a code that just creates a lot of Bitcoins? Like, how are Bitcoins actually created? How do they have a value based on the availability and like what is their individual currency based on, their value based on?
Okay, we're way off target here, and to explain it, we're going to have to go for like another hour on this because I have to explain hash codes. So maybe I'm going to let you guys Google this later.
It basically, I think the dumbed down version is that it's
Thank you.
Matter
Thank you.
Well, I have limited understanding, so let's take everything I say with a grain of salt. But it has to do with taking basically the electricity that you're using when it all comes down to it, because this is a lot of compute power to you think of it in terms of you guys remember the folding at home craze?
Yeah.
It was among one of the first GPU things.
Mm-hmm.
It's sort of like that, where you're just doing heavy number crunching, and it's uses a lot of power. So essentially, you're taking what is electricity and turning that into a currency, and that's where it sort of inherits its value from.
Yeah.
And it's starting to get big because like Don Matrix's new place, Zynga, is now accepting Bitcoin, and a guy bought a Tesla with Bitcoins.
Yeah.
Shut up.
Well, mining
Wow.
Bitcoin is pretty much dead now.
Is that
Yeah,
because the Bitcoins can power a Tesla?
People that are actually buying Bitcoin now are mining other things like Litecoin and Dogecoin and buying Bitcoin with that and then keeping those Bitcoins, which tend to have a higher value. But also at the same time, the whole coin digital currency market is very vitriolic.
Well, just like our own currency
it's even more
economy.
so.
Vitriolic
real
is
currency.
another currency.
Not yet, but that's my next week projects.
Right. So should we diversify our portfolios and invest in Bitcoin?
No, keep your
Doesn't
real.
sound like it.
All right, fair enough. So yeah, that's a quick rundown.
Or if you
of
can-
Bitcoins. To be fair, I mean, I understand no more about Bitcoins than when we started this conversation. I mean, yeah, let's take that for what you will. All right, and Watch Dogs reviews came out this week from some of the independent sites who actually got a hold of these copies. And the results, I think, were about the same across the board. Let's see what we have here on the document. Someone
Good
who
stuff.
has,
Pretty
next
good.
to him Want to kind of run through it?
9s, 4s, and
Nice.
Well, someone was didn't want to commit. It says there's no score.
wimp.
God, jeez, I hope we never run a site like that. Yeah, somebody has I guess there's a very popular French magazine. They have a 20 scale rating, which they gave a 19 out of 20.
Everyone knows it should have been a 18.
Right, or 19.75.
I was gonna say that.
GTA got a 19.75.
Ah, the French.
All right, so you were saying?
But yeah, just in general, just the buzz early on is that this is kind of a GTA on steroids, and you know the comparisons are unavoidable, but the quality is being praised here.
Mm-hmm. People are mentioning a couple different things in its reference to GTA 5 that the combat mechanics and hacking and those type of things are way above GTA 5, but sometimes cars and NPCs are mentioned as not really anything to be, excited for.
Yeah, like there's no advantage to hunt down a faster car in this game. Like in GTA, you get a faster car, it's worth it. This, it seems like most of the cars are pretty similar.
Right.
Yeah, I was kind of expecting that it was going to be a little bit worse than this. From everything we had been seeing with the how it was shaping up graphically, I thought that we were going to get kind of an underwhelming game, and not that this is necessarily indicative of critical reviews as a whole. And a lot of these people might be excited just because they have an early copy, but yeah, it's just I didn't expect this glowing of reviews.
Well, let's read into this a little bit. One of the cons is that Aiden lacks charisma, so that could kill it for a lot of people right there.
Yeah, the number one, the charisma factor of games.
It's critical.
Especially in the next gen where charisma is at an all-time high. We should be capitalizing on these charisma the CPUs can.
I didn't want to say it, but that was the thing I was looking forward to the most with this gen.
Yeah.
Charisma.
Enough about the graphics. Tell me about the charisma.
Yeah, really.
High def charisma.
Yeah.
If everyone isn't basically Tony Stark, then I'm not interested.
Better on NVIDIA.
Charisma better on NVIDIA.
Yeah.
How about aside from these reviews, how about there's been so many comparisons so far between this system looks like this and this system looks like this, and PC's the best, and then PS4 has anti-aliasing, this one doesn't.
Oh man,
what's been the consensus that you guys have heard?
It's so much worse than what they showed at E3 2012. Not so much. I mean, it's pretty noticeable, and the when they showed it on E3 2012, it's like you got shit flying across, the ground, rain dropping. It was just like it looked so much more immersive and looked more like something
a living, breathing world.
Like a living, breathing world, and that's what most people want in an open world game. Even with like GTA 5, it's like a city of only like a couple hundred people, and it's just kind of weird and awkward, like a ghost town of Los Angeles. And this kind of feels like a ghost town of Chicago. It's not really it's not really dense or anything. Their animations aren't as smooth or as like natural as they showed in E3. Other than that, I think we were talking about earlier, but like the daytime settings, they look kind of like washed out as far as like the colors go, and even the nighttime is like, which most people are saying is like, oh, it looks way better at, it doesn't compare to what they showed at E3.
Well, I think a lot of people are attributing that to the rain effect that they have and the way reflection,
right,
the tessellation and all that.
Right.
Well, it doesn't look anything like, say the Division or the Order or things like. Well, granted, the Order is also more closed in. It looks like for most of the gameplay, but this is supposed to be kind of an exemplary title for next gen, even though it is technically cross gen. But it doesn't look anywhere near. I haven't been super impressed with what I've seen with the final screenshots. And I remember this being when they first revealed it too. It was. Kind of a weird thing because it was a next-gen game before there was officially a next-gen.
Right.
So it was more or less kind of a preview of what that would be like. And then since then, I think there's been games that have been revealed that have surpassed what we're seeing with this.
Right. It was kind of like almost a rude awakening for like next-gen. It was like hopefully like not a lot of things are like this for PS4 and Xbox One, but it's not a good first start. But yeah. Infamous actually looks better than this, but I mean, Infamous is not really as big as an open world game. I'm not entirely sure, as far as the scope goes.
Well, if Division is significantly better looking than this, considering the scope of that game, then I think it's pretty safe to say that Watch Dogs is not.
Was not the next gen game that we were looking for.
Right, it wasn't to the level that maybe it could have been.
I mean, some of the little things that they just overlooked, like car damage or like just environment damage in general. Like you running your car.
To your point, we're talking about Division. Division got delayed, which I don't think should surprise anyone. That game.
But this game got delayed as well.
It got delayed as well. But the question I'm asking is, had it got delayed more, do you think these are things that could have happened, or do you think it was already had its leg chopped off by being tied to the previous generation?
I think it was the latter. I think they delayed this one last minute because they couldn't quite get it to shine like they wanted to. They had to pare it down last minute and get it out the door. Like I think a lot of shit was broken, and at the end, I mean, I have like no insider information on this. This is just my take on it. And they delayed it because they needed just a solid product. Because I still think they do want this to be an enduring IP. But they're probably taking a very wait and see approach to see how it does. But they needed to clean it up first. But with the Division, I think they're looking at what happened with Watch Dogs, and they're going like, fuck it, let's just delay it now, and let's just actually make it look like what we promised, and let's do it. Let's do it right.
Like even I was really unimpressed by the PS4's screenshots and video shots that I've seen. I knew it wasn't going to be anything like the PC version, but it had like zero anti-aliasing. It's just like, what's going on? Like these guys are made out of like rectangles. Like it was just really unacceptable. So hopefully, once the game officially gets out, we'll see if that's the case or not. But yeah, just not the Watch Dogs that I thought it was going to be.
Yeah. The crazy thing is, I remember us talking about this at some point on the show, and we were talking about, since it was going to be cross-generational, that there was something that they were working on that was going to adapt the level of characters in the next gen and the previous gen. It was going to have it adaptable, so there was going to be more people inhabiting the next gen consoles. Now that was something we were talking about at the time. We were actually talking about like what the implications would be. How would you even design a game under those parameters? It doesn't seem like that ever happened. So I'm wondering, Like, was this just something that was just hearsay and just never came to be? Was it something they decided they couldn't do, or because of time? We heard about it and it never actually happened. Obviously, it looks like these are the same games, aside from ground differences.
Right. I agree. I don't know. It's just couldn't put out solid. I mean, it's a solid product, but it's just not exactly what we wanted. The more you can say than that.
All right. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk about another thing that arose from the early release of Watch Dogs, and we're going to be talking about embargoes and how they affect the industry.
Yes.
And so stick with us. I think it'll be a good discussion. We'll be right back. All right. For some reason, I'm losing authentication on the Twitch broadcast. I need to.
Someone got Mario Kart early, streaming it. Looks awesome.
Oh yeah.
You guys ever use a word and then realize that you've vastly misused it?
Go to Twitch TV/Mopieface, MOPIEFACE, and he's streaming it right now. Looks so fun.
Where do you see it?
Mopieface on Twitch. Here, I'll put it in the chat. Let's see it in the chat. There.
Fun.
This track's insane.
All right, I think I got it to work. That was weird. Like it stopped accepting our stream key.
That happened to me once before.
Oh, okay, cool. At least it's.
So.
No, it's not.
Eyes.
Oh, this game looks so good.
And it runs at 60, so.
Yeah, it looks so good.
Well, I thought it ran at 59.
Oh, I'm not good. I can't play it. Sorry. 60 or nothing. I wouldn't even go above 60.
Yeah. I can't even play a game that's below 60. It just makes me want to throw.
My eyes can't see even past 30, so.
Just boring.
All right, you ready to go?
Yeah, I'm ready. Let me just still in the chat here. I'm not sure if anyone's still in there, but if you were watching the show right now, sorry about that. We lost for some reason. It stopped authenticating our stream key, so we had to reload. We're going to start the second part of the show in just.
We're imposters.
Yeah, we're apparently not the real 1985 FM. So give us 1 second, and we're going to start up with the second section about embargoes. Give me 1 sec, guys.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to buy that bundle this weekend.
So
not playing even the computer. What's he doing?
I don't know what he's doing. It's like he's just going. There are other people on the track.
Oh.
Where did you guys put the link to that? I want to see it.
It's in the chat.
In the chat. We should just do a live commentary instead.
So you know that site HitFix. Drew McWeeny runs it, and he has 2 kids. And I guess he took the kids to see Days of Future Past this weekend. And one of the kids says, "No, mommy, Wolverine didn't say fuck. The professor did." And the other kid's like, "Oh yeah." And he's like, "They're in bed right now, lights out. I'm trying to get a hold of someone about joining the witness protection program."
Oh boy.
The wife's gonna kill him. But Wolverine didn't say fuck.
That's awesome.
Wait, is he alone?
No.
No.
He just
really
has
good.
it on easy mode.
Way to go. Way to
Oh.
run to that thing.
Oh.
Wow.
Oh, did he break it?
Nice corner.
Lawrence just has really good timing with complimenting him. This guy's doing awesome. Oh.
That was a nice drift. Good corner.
Oh yeah, very nice there. This guy's got
Let's
it
go
down.
home.
Clean forward flip.
Oh.
I wish I watched more NASCAR, so I could actually do like a NASCAR commentary on Mario Kart.
Oh, it's easy. You just use a bunch of phrases and words that are, that seem smart, but they're actually made up.
Or just use them in the totally wrong context. Like vitriol.
Yeah, exactly.
You can tell me I'm stupid, guys. I understand.
I have a few words like that. Don't worry.
I said it and I'm like, fuck, and I just kept rolling with it. No, I didn't say anything stupid. Don't worry about it.
So this is mirrored, I guess, because it says no, it's not. Well, me says is backwards on his cart, but then the words.
Yeah, why is me backwards? Fake, pirated. It's mining bitcoins.
Maybe it's just the track is mirrored, because sometimes it will do that too, where it's all the signs and stuff will have backwards wording if you're playing at mirror mode.
Mm.
But that would mean this is 150cc, which would be harder than what this is showing.
Oh, that's awesome.
What?
Shit.
So this looks like a Wii. Yeah, this is mirror mode. So this looks like a track from the Wii version.
Mm-hmm. But kind of revamped.
Oh, look at that fire, dude. The lava.
Future's here.
I don't even care about what. Watch who?
Yeah.
Watch dogs? What?
No, watch Mario Kart. Forget
Hey,
the dogs.
It's funny how Mario Kart is like one of the games that looks the most next gen.
It really does. Like, this looks so much more appealing. Oh, those fireballs were just like burning my face. They're so realistic.
God, this track is so cool.
Yeah.
This is nuts. So, killer app finally for Wii U. It just sold like 7 million units.
What's gonna happen when if the Wii U beats the Xbox One and the MPDs? That's
gonna be a great podcast. Is what's gonna happen.
Microsoft's gonna be hitting that panic button like, oh shit, what do we do? What do we do? What do we do? Call of Duty free for everyone.
Release an Avatar kart racing game.
Ooh.
Oh, he
fucked
fucked
up.
that up.
Oh, you got cocky.
Got one banana, picking up coins all over the place.
Dude, he's got like a boombox on his car. That's wicked.
It's powered by dubstep.
That's really cool.
He took the left side this time. Is it any different? Doesn't look like it. Oh, lightning. That's gonna hurt you. Final lap. Gotta watch out for those lasers. Always watch out for the lasers. They'll get you every time.
You got a red show while in first place. That's kind of fun.
Are we recording right now? Are we like recording random?
Oh, I'm sorry, we're live.
Things that people can't see.
Like, oh, we're just throw my Mario Kart.
Streaming us
Bowser, though.
watching it's actually being presented as us watching Mario Kart right now.
Oh, okay.
It looks pretty good.
Those jets of lava.
I know, right?
Delicious.
Delicious.
I wish. I still want him to take that top track instead of the bottom. See what happens.
And the crazy thing is, this is 60 frames a second. And that's what I saw when I played it. I was like, this is a game that looks really good, and it's running at 60 frames a second on the Wii.
And it'll have less compression artifacts.
Well, to be fair, it doesn't have, a lot of detail.
Just had Nintendo made Watch Dogs. I mean, like, it would have been way more immersive.
Well, you know why?
Tracking on the Wii pad would actually be interesting.
Open world Mario game.
Mario 64 universe or something.
That's a cool background.
Mario Theft Auto. Mario, he is Italian.
Oh, this
Rainbow
is-
Road.
Holy shit! Look at this thing.
So, holy crap.
Oh man, how'd they get up there if the Russians didn't take them?
I love
I'm on the road, we're on the Rainbow Road.
Mario Kart 8. That's
It's
great.
where you go when you die.
That is insane.
This is beautiful. I'm crying.
I like the space station on it now.
I
That's
know,
a nice...
right? Sci-fi.
Oh, don't go on that side.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
See,
What
this
just
is-
happened?
It's
It's still
rather
got
than-
no rails like the other ones.
You know what? A lot of these tracks remind me of like F-Zero tracks, especially this one.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because we'll never get an F-Zero.
16
Yeah.
viewers just from doing that. It's not fair. We stream someone else's stream and then we get
Oh, nicely done.
Back in
was
second.
was that with the green
Oh,
shell?
pink. Oh, blue shell. Oh, I hate to see that happen.
This is the final track of Special Cup, so shit's gonna go down really hard. Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
What are you
You have to make up
doing?
some time, Cotton.
Be right back.
I want this game right now.
3 days.
Sunday.
What? Friday.
Nintendo releases their games on Sundays.
Okay, it's Friday.
No, it's gonna be Friday.
Yes. It was very close to the edge on that one.
Yeah, he's grinding that rail.
First place.
Nicely.
No, final lap. It's going to be interesting to see if he keeps it up.
No,
Are
this is
we
good.
ending podcast?
No, we're live now.
Oh.
Yeah,
coming back.
Live commentary. You guys got to start talking more. I need
We're
someone
just
to
reacting
play
to
off.
Mario Kart. How awesome Mario Kart is.
I'm just waiting for like the hammer to drop because this is the final lap, final cup.
You still got 2 mushrooms left.
Oh, they're taking the high road.
It's a risky move, Cotton. Let's see if it'll pay off.
Holy shit.
Uh-oh. Could have been costly.
Those little spinners things, they'll fuck you up. Yeah.
That's
Managed
what they
well
do.
with it. He was able to hold the curve
See, it's
Oh
a
my God,
temptation
right
to
through
take
the
the boost.
finish, and he is done.
Very nice.
Well played.
Relatively tame on the items and stuff. On the previous Mario Kart games, you would expect like lightning and blue shells and bullet bills and
Yeah, this was very forgiving.
Well,
Yeah.
he did get hit with one. I don't know if
Yeah, but
that
like,
wasn't even the final lap.
64 is like relentless. Like they will just
That's
come
true.
the fuck after you.
Oh,
I like the-
it got worse with the DS and the Wii versions. They were
Yeah.
notorious.
I like the loading screen.
The loading screen is really nice. I want that as a,
It's pretty
like a
cute.
wallpaper.
yeah.
Like an actual room wallpaper.
Oh, room wallpaper? Yes, of course. Oh my gosh, I see it.
Oh, replays.
Mario Kart TV. How cute is that?
That looked like an interesting map we didn't see.
That was the first one he was on. The in the sky with the beanstalk. New vehicle customization.
Ooh.
Oh, they have stamps. Miiverse stamps. I think that's gonna be Nintendo's achievements that they're gonna do on the Wii is stamps because they had that in Mario 3D World. Stamps that you could unlock from Miiverse.
They're just now rolling this out.
It's
You
like
hear
That's
a
like zero
Oh, yeah, unlocked
continuity.
Rosalina.
Rosalina.
So there's still looks like 4 he hasn't unlocked.
Yeah. Is he gonna go with a different character?
Nope.
What?
Maybe. Oh, yeah.
Oh, fake this out.
New customization.
No,
What's he got?
Rosalina.
It's a ship.
Look at that. You gotta go with that. That's badass.
Oh, so this is the customization. You can choose different tires and kites and everything. And
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's all from the similar to Mario Kart 7.
well, maybe I don't have that game.
Yeah, I didn't play 7 because I heard it was all cheating online. People hacked it.
Damn cheaters. All right.
He's unlocked everything. It looks like.
Do I start the next part of the show, or are we still?
You
on-
can
Yeah, start the
Yeah,
next
start.
version.
We'll decide if we can.
We can multi.
We'll tell you.
Clearly, we can't. You couldn't finish
Pass.
that sentence.
Yeah,
We can multi.
We can multi.
Cart.
Whatever.
Mario.
Oh, this is a Call of Duty map.
Yeah, map here. Looks pretty good. The game does look really good though, man.
Yeah, Watch Dogs is gonna be on the Wii U.
Yeah, the last Ubisoft game on the Wii U probably.
Yeah, apparently, because
They ain't showing nothing for E3.
yeah, and no Far Cry 4 either. Uh-oh, he's not used to this cart. He's not doing so hot. Nice. Fuck.
Come on, man. Mario Kart's playing. You can't be talking like that.
That's the thing. He gets so into it, Randy. It's the Mario Kart thing. It's cursing with Mario Kart.
Cursing with
Goes
Mario
hand.
Kart. The new
It goes hand in hand.
Right. Right.
Is this? Oh, it is a limited time one. I was gonna say it stayed on there a long time.
Yeah.
Or
See now, if this was a YouTube-owned Twitch, this would be taken down by now.
Oh yeah, this would have already been done with.
Now there's a shortcut. There's a
Surprised
ramp
YouTube's
that
still
you see
allowing
on the right there. You cut corners a little bit.
drop it right there. Oh, you missed a mistake. Oh, here comes Blue Shell.
Uh-oh.
The blue
She's got
shell.
wrecked.
You didn't do it over the water, at least.
It'd be interesting to see if we get to see that Blue Shell Buster now. The
Yeah.
Mega Horn or something.
I thought that's what I was looking at before with the speakers on the Mii car. I guess that wasn't
No.
related.
Yes.
See now, this is how you play. It's nice to have a stream where somebody actually knows what they're doing.
Yeah.
I
So
love
we can,
car sliding.
all right, we should maybe close the Mario Kart tab.
No.
Okay.
Right.
Oh.
What are we talking about? Embargoes. Hey, talking about embargoes, aren't we not supposed to see this game?
Well played, sir. Well flippin' played.
Well, I can tell you right now, it's not hurting this game because if I wasn't sold on it before,
Right.
this is doing a pretty good job with it.
I think the more footage that they show, like, I personally think that embargoes do, in certain cases, hurt games because people aren't able to see things like this. If I was able to see, more footage, more real people playing the game rather than, recorded footage from the developers who, play the game day in and day out, I think it would be show a more realistic sort of review of the game.
Right. But, I mean, that's good for good games.
I think it's good for all games. I want to see a bad game. The only people that really like embargoes are developers.
All right, we'll hold that thought. Let's start the next part of the audio. All right, I gotta turn off the cart. All right, one second.
Ooh.
What's that ooh about, Brandon?
I'm still watching it.
Yeah. What's that ooh about, man?
Mr. Corner. Ended up. Now he's in 5th.
Oh.
Oh, it's not looking good.
Oh man, gorgeous track though. Holy crap.
Yeah.
This is the best looking one so far. Well, I don't know. Rainbow Road is good too. That's awesome right there.
Riding over a giant underwater snake worm thing. You think he controls the spice?
Thing? What?
Who's talking?
Oh,
I don't
look
know.
who's talking. Are we started the audio?
No, not yet.
Okay.
Starting just a second here.
No one's wearing breathing masks, which takes me out of the experience. I'm not immersed anymore.
It's a special ultra oxygen enriched water.
It's like Evangelion inside the suit.
Just roll with it. Science doesn't matter.
All right, here we go. Recording the next part of the audio.
Okay.
All right.
All right, we're back for the topic of the week on the 1985 FM podcast, and it's related to the Watch Dogs news that we were talking about earlier in the show about early copies coming out and people getting a hold of them, releasing their reviews on some of these independent sites. The big thing, a lot of the bigger outlets obviously sign embargo agreements that they will not release a review until a given date, and it goes the same across the board for all the outlets unless there's an agreement, obviously, but that gives them a preferred time to release the review. And what I kind of want to talk about is embargoes in general. There's been a little bit of talk about how embargoes might actually hurt the industry, not necessarily the industry as much as the consumer. And I just kind of want to get everyone's feedback on this, where they stand on this. Do they think it's good? From a standpoint that everyone is on the same playing field, or do we think that it's in the end a bad practice?
Well, I mean, I guess it's a timing thing because I can see like release date embargoes being harmful because it's the same with movies. And oftentimes you can almost judge a movie's quality by when the embargo is. You can see like no reviews of it until release day, and it probably indicates a level of damage control by the the studio. But that's not necessarily true in every case, and we don't necessarily know. In the case of Watch Dogs, we don't know if it's something that they're just trying to control just for the sake of marketing purposes. It doesn't seem like it's a bad game by any means. So in this case, that specific instance, I don't see how it's necessarily harmful, especially if it's a game, and some people, they don't invest that much consideration into review scores and that sort of thing. They see footage of a game, they read about it, and they decide, I'm going to buy that pretty much regardless because those are the things I'm interested in. But it's so in the case of Watch Dogs, some people, I'm sure a lot have made up their minds already, and they have plenty of time to do so, especially with the delay.
For a game like Watch Dogs and other really hyped games, an embargo isn't such a big deal because the developer already knows that they've got something big that's going to sell, regardless of if people are saying it's really not that good a week early. It's some of the smaller, more games that people are kind of hesitant about getting, that where the developers are nervous about having people say this is a bad game, don't buy it.
Right.
And that's essentially what I see it as embargoes
sort of
being.
gauge sales to some extent too, the pre-orders and the pre-sales numbers too, to see. And sometimes you'll get embargoes, not just on reviews, but even on previews and pre-release information about games, and that's all for marketing purposes. The question is, okay, has there been an instance of this where there's been something really harmful? So I'm thinking back on maybe was the DayZ rip-off game, or was that the name of it? Whether that was on Steam, I can't remember exactly. Huh?
The War Z.
War Z, yeah, where there wasn't really, coverage for the game. I guess a lot of people got duped into it. I don't know if that's due to an embargo or anything, but it's tough to pinpoint something specifically where there was an embargo and consumers, in terms of games, where consumers were really hurt by that. So that, to me, it might be blown out of proportion.
I do think that it is a little blown out of proportion, but I think when you consider the pre-orders that are such a big part of gaming, pre-ordering something, I mean, first off, on no proof that it's necessarily any good, I think it's kind of silly. And then when you tie it into the fact that reviews are kept until the day it releases, it gives you little incentive if you really thought of it without the excitement of wanting to play a game. It doesn't make a lot of sense to pre-order a game when you don't have a review to kind of even reflect what you're purchasing. You're buying an idea.
Something that bugged me with this Watch Dogs thing that happened was you started to see some reviews come out on smaller sites, and then Ubisoft went on the official Watch Dogs Twitter account and tweeted, "Don't worry, legitimate reviews will be coming at a later date." And it's like, what? The only reviews that are legitimate are the ones that agree to your embargo?
Right. I
Right.
understand what you're saying. It's almost like they're making this assessment that people who aren't part of a large outlet, their opinions don't necessarily they're not skilled enough to give a review.
Yeah,
Right.
In
that's
some
basically
cases,
what
it's
they're
true,
doing.
Definitely.
They didn't agree to our contract, so therefore their opinion is uneducated, invalid in every way.
Yeah.
For a lot of the larger journalism gaming sites, an embargo means that you don't have to compete really with having the first review out of everyone. You don't have to really push for all that traffic because people are going to look at multiple reviews from all the sites.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day,
which
as
is
far
good.
as- yeah, for outlets.
For
it
them.
makes perfect sense. Yeah, for them, that you wouldn't, you would have everyone on that level playing field, so you weren't rushing to get something out before everyone else, and sacrificing the quality of whatever your review is, the presentation of your review, just to be the first out.
And
That wouldn't
maybe
happen.
maybe it's playing devil's advocate, but in a way that can actually kind of help consumers, because then you have more voices at once talking about a game, that you can actually go through all those reviews and have a much more educated opinion rather than just a handful, like in this case, of magazines and smaller places that have reviews, and they're the only ones that are out, so they're the only ones spouting off an opinion. But it's not necessarily the voices that you're familiar with. It's not necessarily the sites that you trust.
Right.
So it's not really. You're not going to make a very educated, assessment of what the overall quality is, necessarily with just the small trickle of, I don't want to say questionable, because some of these are big in their own right. The French magazine is apparently very big over there. But just ones that you personally know don't necessarily reflect your own opinions on games.
Right. Yeah. The big thing. I mean, if anything, I think that what happens is you get these smaller sites that bring out these reviews, and their voice is really loud for a second. It's the only representation of what that game is capable of, and it's not really the objective, like a review that you the thing you would want from reviews. You want to have a lot to pull from and kind of make an assessment based on what you've heard from a lot of people. Having one person's review would suck for a lot of games. So I mean, having it come out at the same time,
it's science.
It makes more sense to have more to pull from to actually make your own opinion. So I don't see many ways where having an embargo is a bad thing. As far as like information, PR information ahead of time, I don't necessarily agree in that sense, but definitely with reviews, I think it's better that everyone has.
Now, if you want to roll in like these closed review events where some companies may not get invited,
yeah,
and so therefore the embargo, that has some, yes, it gives all the sites that were included into the embargo a level playing field, but then what happens if you weren't invited to something like that?
Maybe nicer next time.
Right. You had to be bigger, I guess. I don't know.
Just based on politeness.
It could be. Maybe you have to give them some expensive cigars or something, but
yeah.
There is an exclusionary aspect to that. That can be harmful. Not necessarily to consumers, though. It just depends on how much moral weight did you place on that, where a smaller website doesn't get their dues.
Exactly.
If that bothers you, then maybe this is a bad thing. But as a
point, if you're going to have like these embargoes where you have everything, it's coming out on the same day, but then you don't offer copies to sites that you don't deem large enough to be part of that, then they have to wait and they have their reviews that much further. I mean, that has a lot to do with PR, like expenses, how much they spend on their
and it may not even be a size thing. It could be you could pull like a Kane and Lynch type thing.
Oh yeah.
And suddenly you don't have friends anymore. So there can be some sort of shady aspects there with it.
Yeah, I think that's a whole different bag, though. I mean, that's I think worst case scenario kind of stuff. Luckily, that turned out okay.
Yeah, in the end, a few years later,
happened to someone else, and it could have been a lot worse. Yeah. So let's talk about. I don't think anyone else has anything they want to add to that, or are we kind of all?
Well, yeah. The only way that it really does hurt, and we know that I don't think anyone touched upon it. That we know that embargoes are kind of probably something's wrong with the game, is when a lot of these review sites don't even get a review copy. And I usually based off of has IGN got a review copy of the game? No, then it's probably not looking good. It's not always the case. But
that was with Call of Duty on the Vita.
Right.
Nobody got review copies, so they had to go out and buy them.
Just why? It was but I mean, it's clear as day, why. So, and as far as embargoes hurting the consumer, I don't even think it's just embargoes. I think it's just mostly these pre-order packs. I mean, looking at Watch Dogs pre-order packs, they have 20 different versions, and you have to buy, I think, 5 of them to get everything. It's ridiculous.
Watch Dogs has so much good stuff in it. If they were to put it in one pack, it would be too much for most people to handle.
Yeah, you gotta get all those hats. It's really important to get all those hats. It's just it's ridiculous, and it's unfortunate that a lot of people don't get the access to that content just because they didn't jump ship without just blindly. So I mean, it's not even an embargo. It's not even holding reviews until the last day. It's really these pre-order packs we should be talking about. It's stop doing that. Stop pre-ordering, and they'll stop fucking you over. I'm serious. Money talks. Vote for your dollar. But it's really important that you get that action figure of a game you're not sure if you're gonna like or not. So
I mean, in my experience, I think we've kind of noticed that regardless of what reviews say, in most cases, if someone wants a game, they're going to buy it regardless. I mean, we take the NPDs that we were looking at, I think, on last episode. There were a lot of games on there that were reviewed very well and sold very well. Then there was Amazing Spider-Man 2, a game that was atrocious and sold like hotcakes. Certain games, it doesn't matter how much bad press comes from it. Critical reviews do not matter. There's a large part of the audience, and probably the majority of the audience, that do not care about reviews. They're going to get what they want to get. And I think that's probably an important thing to keep in mind when we're talking about this. We're talking about a small sect of people who are part of this industry.
I think that's the case for franchises. But Watch Dogs is new. This is a brand new IP, so I don't know if everyone's going in. I don't think a majority of people ordering this. I think it's only not. It's not a handful, but it's not a majority. You know what I mean? That are pre-ordering these limited editions, because just oh, if it's Call of Duty, it's I played Call of Duty before. I know what it's all about. They can't fuck up Call of Duty. It's either going to be the same as last year or better. So just like tacos, you can't fuck up tacos. They're gonna be amazing or
Right.
Yeah, it's okay. It's a taco. I don't know. But embargoes are great for consumers for a lot of reasons. I mean, you're gonna get subpar reviews if there was no embargoes, because you're gonna get a lot of people who are gonna be pirating games and doing like half-ass reviews just so you can be the first. You know, because
Watch Dogs performs horribly. 25% of my GPU was used, and I wasn't even running the game.
Nice.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, that's what it comes down to, and I can understand that. You know, like Ubisoft would probably be upset about those other sites, you know, breaking embargo dates. You know, they shouldn't have done that if they want to continue working with Ubisoft.
The thing. Let me read one of the excerpts here. This is
Sure.
one of the sites that actually did pull up. They didn't follow the embargo, and I assume it's because they got a copy where they didn't have to sign a contract for.
Right.
And it says editorial communication is at the heart of Watch Dogs. As such, we wanted to clarify. So last fall, Writing Game Blog no longer accepts NDA/embargoes rigged to release date crystallizing games the most attention. This is the case of the last game of Ubisoft's explanation, and it says what happened this week. Many YouTubers, TV stars, and classical players have streamer present and give their opinions on Watch Dogs before the specialized press for whom embargoes is currently set May 27th. He basically just goes on to give his reasoning why he won't be part of this, but I get the impression that they didn't sign a contract anyways, or they weren't given a press release. They stole it. So I mean, I'm not sure if that's really you're really putting your neck out there.
Yeah, it's very
like you did something amazing.
Yeah, it's very rare that, you know, a credible site will break embargo. It's usually wait for that one dumbass to break embargo, then they all go full force. It's like, all right, I guess it's good to go. You know, he's already broken it. But yeah, I mean, like you said, you pretty much, we already talked about everything. I mean, it doesn't hurt the consumer to get an embargo. What hurts the consumer is their patience. You know, if they can't wait until after a review to buy a game, that's their own fault. You know, relies on them. You know, if they have to pre-order a game because it gets an action figure of a person who's not charismatic, then so be it. I mean, like, whatever. You know, it's up to you.
To be fair,
but you can make believe he's charismatic if you have the action figure.
How can you do that, man? Like, if you can't, the fact that he's not charismatic, and the review said that, I mean, it's really making me second guess my 3 pre-orders.
Well, I mean, it's making me second guess my purchase of the PS4. I mean, this next generation isn't going to live up to our expectations of charisma.
Yeah, exactly. Very nice. All right. So let's. I think we got that one. Let's talk about what we've been watching on the stream for the last 3 minutes. I know you guys want to talk about it, so let's just do it. Let's talk about Mario Kart 8, which we have been watching.
So, we've been talking about possibly the first killer app for the Wii U.
Right.
And how this is a better looking game than Watch Dogs. Maybe not technically. I don't know. Well, possibly technically too.
I will say the charisma factor is higher.
Oh well,
that's true.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, this look at the charisma here. This is a motorcycle with wagon wheels. I mean, this is
not one word. Way more charisma.
Yeah.
Charisma. But in terms of the just an audio audience could hear, what are you guys' initial impressions?
Oh man, this looks like potentially the best Mario Kart game of the franchise, and I'm a big fan of the franchise, so that's coming from me. You know, you guys should definitely be listening to what I'm saying there.
I don't own a Wii U, and I'm thinking maybe I need to go spend a bunch of money this weekend.
That's serious. The level, we were looking at some of the levels, and the level where they had the jet in the hangar, it just like the level design looks really, really nice.
Oh, everything's creative, and right now I'm looking at a spooky mansion, and the track is just running up and around the walls, and there's the stuff sliding and moving and lighting, and it's
a lot. It seems like a lot. Also, a lot of the tracks are. Sorry, I cut you off.
No, go ahead.
They're kind of reminiscent of some of the older games, but they're done in a way that makes them seem new as well.
Yeah. So what they'll do is, and they did this to some extent with say Mario Kart 7, where they would import the cruise ship track, for example. But Mario Kart 7 introduced the ability to drive underwater. So anytime you got a pool on the cruise ship in the GameCube, you would have to be fished out of that. But in the 3DS game, you could just drive through the water. And that was a minor example. They go much further into it with this. So in some cases, you'll have tracks that suddenly go vertical or upside down, and utilizing the hover mechanic here, you'll stick to the road and creates a much more dynamic, as Jeremy was saying earlier, more like a F-Zero feel to the tracks, while obviously at a slower pace.
Yeah. Anyone else have anything they want to say, or is anyone considering getting a Wii U who doesn't have one yet because of this game?
I feel like
yeah, I am.
Yeah.
I feel like I want to play the arcade version more. Not the arcade version of this, but the arcade Mario Kart.
Oh,
Yeah,
That's a cheaper route.
Supposedly that one is really chaotic with the items and stuff. So prepare to get your ass beat a lot.
Yeah, looks cool.
Do you guys think there's going to be any big stuff as far as Nintendo at E3? Do you think there's going to be another app on this, or another game on this level? It's going to be like a killer app?
If they show a Zelda that's not Hyrule Warriors, maybe, but I'm kind of getting worried that Hyrule Warriors will be their big Zelda game of the show.
I'm thinking right now it is their big Zelda game. It'd be dumb if that's their only Zelda game, but yeah, I'm thinking it is too.
Oh well, they're gonna have possibly a Mass Effect compilation, but only with hetero relationships in it. So it's gonna be kind of the Nintendo twist on that.
There is a rumor of Nintendo at E3. Well, it's kind of confirmed that Smash Brothers is going to use NFC. The little button, the little pad that's on the gamepad. Now imagine Skylanders or Disney Infinity, but Smash Brothers. You want to unlock Link in Smash Brothers? Buy the figure.
I don't think they're going to do that. I think that's something they would have told us about before it's about to come out. That there's going to be bunch of
but there could be maybe stat things, like things that maybe you can quote unquote level up with characters in this new Smash Brothers.
I don't know if that's going to be the case either.
You can save on the figure.
Nintendo has also talked a little bit about their mobile stuff, so it's possible using that NFC, which is incorporated in a lot of phones, that there's some sort of alternate training app or something on the phone that syncs up with your full game and uses that.
All right, and explain for anyone who's listening who isn't familiar, NFC. You're talking about a near field.
Yes.
Near field communication.
Exactly. All right, guys. Let's take another break. When we come back, let's do a quick run through of what we've been playing this week, what we will be playing, and we'll take any questions that might be thrown at us. So stick with us. We're coming back with the final part of this week's 1985 FM podcast.
This stream threatened to derail the podcast.
Right. We were doing so well before that.
It's a slow news week.
I was like, wow, we're doing pretty good considering. And then that fucking stream.
I thought we did a pretty decent embargo discussion, considering in between me talking, I was switching back to the stream.
Oh my god.
Oh, I had the stream open the entire time.
So Brandon's not even fucking around. He's like, no, I was watching it constantly. I tried to focus. I'm like, okay, switch tabs at least.
You there?
At least do that much.
I am, but I do have to go in a few minutes.
All right. So was that last topic taboo for you?
No, not at all. I actually, Nathan basically said what I was going to say, so I didn't want to repeat it. But yeah, I think same-day embargoes are dangerous, but embargoes in general aren't really a bad thing, in my opinion. They can be, but it's so contextual to what's going on that it's hard to blanket statement.
Yeah, I can't come up with a good example of where it's been harmful.
Right.
Yeah, it's a tough one. I mean, aside from games that have been just terrible, and obviously they had an embargo to avoid.
You know those item boxes? They almost look like you could burn ants with them. The way they're refracting light.
I was thinking the same thing.
See, look, they got little light balls of light underneath, whatever you want to call them.
Well, I'm not sure how long the next section is going to go, Vasilis. So you can either, unless you want to talk about something when we come in, or you can just duck out now.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna duck out now before you guys start.
All right, then, fair enough, man. Thanks for sticking by with us. Good luck with all that work, man.
Thanks, dude. Have a good night, everybody.
All right, later.
Thanks.
Bye.
All right, so who's been playing anything of note this week?
Well, me and Brandon have been playing Transistor.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. And WordPress Coding Simulator 2014.
Oh, yeah.
It's a pretty realistic. No, but you've been playing Wolfenstein too, right?
Wolfenstein, yeah.
Okay, cool. So we got a couple things. How about you, Lawrence?
Lawrence is dead.
Well,
I don't see Lawrence here.
I think Lawrence is 1985 FM. But he's just not here.
Oh.
Who knows what he's doing? Oh, Jesus.
I gotta scratch myself inappropriately.
All right, fair enough.
Yeah, he's playing a mirror. Who do you unlock? Another Koopa Kid.
There's like 7 of them.
This is the first one that they've had Koopa Kids. This has been one of those big things that they've been overlooking.
Yeah. I know that. Koopa Kids. Goddamn Koopa.
Koopa Kids are fun.
Are they?
Uh,
Are they really fun?
Come on, Randy, contain your excitement.
Yeah.
Be an adult.
I like Mario Kart. I like the Mario Karts, but I don't get all gooey when I see them. I like playing them, but I don't lose my shit over them.
I'm kind of losing my shit.
Yeah, no, I get.
I might have to change actually because I lost too much shit.
All right, well, I guess we're just gonna keep going. We can't wait for Lawrence here. I'm sure he'll be back eventually. I'm not sure if he has anything to play that we haven't already talked about. All right, so everyone ready?
Yep.
All right. All right, it's that time of the show where we talk about what we have been playing. We have a couple games of note this week, namely Transistor and Wolfenstein. I believe it's called The New Order.
I'm back.
Beautiful, and Lawrence is back. Perfect. All right, so let's start off. Let's talk about Transistor, guys. Who's been playing it?
I've been playing it.
Yeah, I guess the 3 of us then, huh? It's me, Lawrence,
Sweet.
and Brandon. I probably had the least to say about it, so maybe I should go first.
Go ahead.
I probably played. Has it been an hour total? I don't know. It doesn't seem like it's been very long. But basically, this game is very combat focused. You're basically going from fight room to fight room, which I was kind of surprised. I was expecting more gameplay than that, and maybe I'll see more later on. But key thing is with the strategy. This is a very strategically focused game, in where you can attack enemies and just do a move in real time as they're moving around, as they're firing or attacking you. But the thing that developers are obviously emphasizing is a sort of like a VATS type system where you pause the action, you plan your moves, and then hit basically the play button, and those moves play out. You have a bar that determines how much of those actions that you can actually perform. So in the beginning of the game, that runs out pretty quickly, obviously. Your movement is counted into this bar, so basically as many steps as you take is also factored into if you walk too much, then you can't do as many moves, or if you do a lot of moves and you can't move very much, or attacks rather. So you have to start the process at a point where you can reach your enemies within that allotted actions. So there's a lot of strategy there potentially, but early in the game I'm noticing that it's kind of slow to start in terms of the strategic options. So you have your attacks that you can unlock. They're all mapped to your face buttons, and then those attacks can be used simply as attacks, or they can be used as secondary modifiers for other attacks. And each face button can have 2 modifiers assigned to each one. So if you have a lot of moves, which you eventually will, there's potentially, I don't know, maybe thousands of combinations that you can try, and there's a lot of room for experimentation in this game. But what I'm finding is that it's not opening up very quickly. It ramps you up pretty slowly in that regard. So I'm not really super enthralled just yet with the combat. And not even really with the story either. The story is kind of told. You're kind of slack, in the middle of what's going on with it, and they sort of try to do the exposition through it, and you can run up to little computer kiosks and get a little extra information that way. Or sometimes you'll gain moves off of dead characters, and you can get their bios and get some background information about the world through that. I also noticed that the main character doesn't do any talking, which is great. To compensate for that, to overcompensate for that, your sword does a shit ton of talking, and I kind of wish he would shut up at times. But so far, I'm not really sure I'm as enthusiastic as I hear most people are. So remember when I said I didn't have much to say?
Turns out you had more than you thought.
Well, you pretty much covered all the comment.
Yeah, I had to lay the basics down.
So.
Yeah. So to expand on that, I agree with a lot of that. You're right in that it does expand on what you unlock, and you can't. It does go faster after a certain point. Once you have the 4 main unlockable moves, you get more after that, and you also get what are called passives. So in addition to the 4 attacks that you have, you'll also have secondary ones that are always on and will protect you or enhance your speed or do other things like that. What's also interesting is that each of those abilities can be used as a main attack, a passive, or an upgrade to another ability, depending on how you assign it. So you're right in saying that there are probably thousands of combinations that you could do, which I like. I liked playing around with it in this kind of secret area they have. You can try out different abilities and combinations, see what works best for you. I really liked that aspect of the game. The storyline is kind of not my favorite part, and I do like. I mean, yeah, I don't have much to expand on. You pretty much captured all the same points I had. So good job there.
I apologize. What about Lawrence?
You ought to have your lifting out of the way. But yeah, I actually have a little bit to expand upon it. I went into this game really loving Bastion. It was really nice to know that Supergiant Games, can make a second really good game, because I actually really enjoyed it. I didn't get too far into it.
The music.
I think I beat the first. Yeah, that's what I was gonna get to.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I got to the first boss, and that was fun. I mean, as far as the combat goes, I liked it. It's serviceable. I don't think it's. I think it is better than Bastion, because Bastion was just pretty much, there was no depth to it. It was just dodge, roll, and hit your opponents. It wasn't really. Didn't really have really interesting weapons in it or anything. But this has a lot of interesting parts about it, like you said earlier, the whole turning any kind of move into a passive or an active, and having some of those augments not be only for just one move in particular. You can actually, customize and plus play around with different kind of combinations and such, which I thought was really neat. So I didn't feel like I was like locked into like a box. A lot of these tactical games are just like, it's like, oh, you have these customizations, but you can only do this one move, and it's like, oh, well, it's not really that open. I really did like the story and the atmosphere in the game. I thought it was really, really neat. My favorite part about the game, like you're about to say, is the music. The music is really what really enthralled me about the game. And just like, I can't play this right now because I'm really busy, but I will buy this soundtrack. I was like, I'll go back and get it. So, and I really, really enjoyed like the lounge and trip hop like feel of it. And I was just like, I need more of this. So, I've been like looking up like more artists like it because there's some music that like I've heard before, but not done as well as I think I forget the artist that actually did it. Let's see if I can find it. Darren Korb, I believe. Yeah, but really, really, really good music. To really just like sink you into this kind of like world. It doesn't feel like anything else that I've actually played or heard before. So.
And press R1 or L1 when you're playing the game.
I think this is one of the first games I really wish I played it on PS4 instead of PC, just because they have some interesting things they're doing with the controller actually, where I know you didn't really like the narrator or the sword, but I actually like that a lot. I mean, that's one of the big reasons why I like Bastion is because of the really badass narrator is just narrating everything you do. But the narrator for the sword and Transistor, for instance, it's a lot better to like you care about it more than the narrator in Bastion because it's actually part of the story rather than just like a narrator, and just overseer of what's going on. So some people might find it annoying or anything. It's kind of weird for some people, but it was weird for me at first when I was playing Bastion. It's like, I wish this narrator shut up, and it's just like, wait a second, this is actually kind of cool. It's like narrating every single action I make and everything, and just like giving me all this kinds of exposition. And the exposition, like the abilities you get too, is actually really cool as well. I don't know, I like it so far though. Definitely recommend picking it up. But what I was gonna say with the PS4 version, the cool thing they're doing with the controller is that the voice of the sword actually comes out of the controller. And also, like, if you're dying or anything, or doing a certain attacks, the light bar will actually flash according to the attacks or according to your health meter, which is really kind of like, it's very small, and, it's not going to affect the gameplay at all, but just one more thing to immerse you inside of the game,
The light bar actually flashes in sync with the voice when he's talking. Too,
yeah.
So
so it feels like you're holding the sword, which is a really cool concept. Not a lot of games can do that, but I'm glad. It seems like one of those ideas that, like, it seems like an idea that a developer wouldn't even do. We wouldn't even think about that, and like some fan like, oh, wouldn't it be cool if the voice came out of the sword? It's really, really awesome.
It could be a cool enhancer of the ambiance if you're like in a dark room.
Exactly.
It ironically is the situation where people criticize the light bar the most, like, oh, I'm in a dark room, it just like illuminates everything, but all of a sudden it's like it's tied with this character's voice and it's actually relevant to the game. Could actually be a plus in its favor for some people.
Yeah, so I really wish I played it on PS4. Not gonna spend $400 to get one just for Transistor just yet, but that's actually a really cool feature that I didn't, get a part of, play on PC. So yeah, consoles win, peasants win again.
Let's talk about Wolfenstein: The New Order.
I did not play that.
Oh,
unfortunately.
Oh, I'm up. Okay. Wolfenstein. It's a stupid, fun shooter game with Nazi mechs. The basis of the game is the Nazis won, and they expanded outside of Europe. They took England and the rest of Europe, and then they spread to America and the rest of the world. So you have were fighting in the war and went into like this half coma state for 14 years, and now you're back. Anyone that was fighting with you on your side is now in a special prison, and so you have to help them and get out and win back the war. In this process, you get to take down a Nazi U-boat by yourself, which is a lot of fun. You just basically get to go rage mode a lot, which not a lot of games like this are just so stupid fun. Like the story, I don't even care about the story. There's some romance in there, a little bit of intrigue, but honestly, it's just fun to go through and shoot all the damn Nazis. I hope that I'm gonna say spoiler alert before I say this. So spoiler alert: you get to go to the moon.
What?
The Nazis have a secret moon base.
So it's like that Iron Sky movie.
Yes.
Right. I was just thinking about that. But I think that's
cool.
pretty much a known fact at this point, though. They've colonized the moon.
Like I said, it's not the greatest game out there, and it's probably not a $60 game. Huh?
Have you made it all the way through?
Not all the way through, no.
Because I heard supposedly the ending is surprisingly deep and interesting. So I don't know if maybe that might, for some people, that might have actually improved their opinions on the game. So
I've heard that too. And I mean, the way I'm talking about it now is basically the gameplay. The cutscenes are really fantastically rendered. It's playing it on the PC. It looks fantastic, and the system to kind of control your weapons, scroll through, and just that playing aspect of it is a lot of fun.
So you're saying it has a real-time weapon switching? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, that's impressive. PS3 had that too. So the thing that I heard too is that I guess you have to press a button every time you want to pick up ammo or anything like that. Is that right?
Yes, that's correct. So you basically just walk around and match the E button to pick up anything that's even close to near you, which can be like difficult when you're in a battle and you need ammo like now. But if you are on one of those kind of search and find this part to make this a thing, it makes it almost ridiculously easy because you just walk next to it and it lights up and say, "Oh, here it is, pick it up." So
yeah,
there's that.
Go on.
The enemies in the game range from incredibly easy to kill to terrifyingly difficult. And surprisingly, the most difficult to kill are the ones in the nightmare mode, which is where you actually go back and play through Escape from Castle Wolfenstein.
What?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I heard about that, but it's not a like a faithful like recreation of the original. It's adapted into the modern engine.
Well, yeah, in some cases, yes. For the most part, everything is exactly the same, except for your character and his gun.
Right. And
it still takes like 5 different shots to kill an enemy, and they hurt you a lot. Like it takes them 2 shots to kill you, so you have to be fast and shoot them before they get anything. And I still haven't made it through that first level of that game. Or sub-game, I guess.
Have you ever played Metro Last Light or Metro 2033?
I have not, no.
Okay, I was going to ask if it was anything similar to that. Cause I'm really interested in games like that, but there's not a lot of them, They're kind of like... Metro wasn't really about, like, Nazi Germany, but Last Light had a lot of Nazi, like, references and stuff, and I love blowing the heads off Nazis. So.
You would like this. Oh man, you can shoot a guy's head clean off. Like,
there's a lot of exactly what you just said
it's
in it.
gory as hell, and
yeah, everything I've heard about this game just makes it sound like it's just dumb fun.
it is.
It sounds like
Dumb fun kind of
What I'm
sounds like
wondering-
Inglourious Bastards.
Yeah, right.
I mean, there's been a surprising amount of enthusiasm about this game, which there was for me. I didn't see any build up going into this.
Nope. I mean, there was when they had originally shown it, some people were kind of excited, but nothing,
Right. Well, the last one wasn't really anything special.
No. Even for me, it was the sort of game where I was like, oh, a Wolfenstein game. I remember playing those ages ago.
Right.
Maybe I'll pick this one up. Who knows?
Right. It's like, I don't know if it's just like the summer glut or whatever. It makes people kind of extra enthusiastic, but all of a sudden I'm hearing about this game a lot, so
Yeah.
it's kind of funny to me.
Definitely a lot more interested than I usually would be about a Wolfenstein game.
All right, well, maybe it's the next Gears of War. Who knows?
Maybe that's possible.
I don't think so.
The higher you could judge someone's skepticism by how high pitched the is.
Exactly. Yeah.
The story at the end, it kind of ends the story, according to what I've heard. And I haven't gotten it to myself.
South Park is a terrible show.
Sorry for whoever's listening to this who just had their ears blown out. Nathan has an unusual ability to be able to kill dogs. One of the cool things that I had heard about the game is like the little, not necessarily woven into the narrative, but some of the little tidbits. If you're looking around the levels, you can find out more information about how the Nazis took over the other timeline. Like a specific one I'm thinking of is in reference to the Beatles, how they got a hold of the Beatles and changed all their songs to have them sing German, and they're all war propaganda songs. So the Beatles, it has like little excerpts of like very Beatles-esque songs, but sang in German.
That's interesting. I haven't seen that specific news posting, so it's like that. There are clippings from the newspaper all throughout every level of the game.
Yeah.
In some cases, there's just walls of these notes that have a lot of words in there, and they are interesting to read through.
And
But
it's cool
they're-
to approach it because I mean it's a game that, like you say, it's like a very dumb fun kind of game. So rather than weigh it down with all this what's the word I'm looking for? All this explanation of the exposition on the world. You have all these things that are optional and kind of lend to the world, make it more interesting, but they don't take away from the actual focus of what you're actually there for, which is shooting Nazis and blowing up their heads, like you said.
Yeah, it's basically the equivalent of just a summer action movie. It has a cliched plot, lots of action.
Does it have charisma?
Yeah,
It definitely has charisma. I gotta give it that. Yeah.
Charisma factor 1 through 5. What would you give it?
Probably about a 4.
Okay.
Oh,
I think he
alright.
could be more charismatic.
Okay, well that's good. That means you're an honest reviewer. I mean, there's always room for growth. I like that.
Right.
But he's pretty high up there as far as charisma go.
So what we have here is probably the first true next-gen title.
Yeah, that's what I'm hearing right now. Yeah, exactly. All right, let's move on to questions. Only going to read one question here. This is from a Project Natal fan. He's a regular viewer of the live show, which you can view on 1985fm.com's YouTube and Twitch stream. We go live every Monday at 9:30. And the question goes like this. A question. Sam Lake said he would have something soon for his fans in his tweets. When do you think we'll get this news? This week, next week, or at E3? Sam Lake is one of the developers on Quantum Break. So they're teasing some new stuff. There was a tweet they put out, and he's working at his computer, and you can see a little capture of what's going on the screen. It's an off-screen picture. Do you think we're going to see anything before E3? I'm assuming that it's going to be during E3. Let's ask Jeremy.
I wouldn't be surprised if it was before E3, just because it kind of seems like Microsoft is they'll have the games at E3 in some way, like Sunset Overdrive and Halo 5, some kind of preview or something. But kind of like they're discussing last year's E3 games prior to this year's E3, so they can announce new stuff at the show this year. There was a tweet from Microsoft. It was not Microsoft. There was a comment from Microsoft in some interview recently that said Quantum Break had just recently entered full production. So I'm not sure what they might be showing. Maybe they'll have another gameplay video or something. But I wouldn't be surprised if it came if it's something that came out before E3, kind of like what Sony did with the Order this week.
And explain what that is.
Oh, they just did a real quick. I think it was Thursday afternoon. Wednesday, Thursday afternoon. They did a quick little thing saying, "Hey, jump on Twitch right now, and we'll show you a new gameplay clip." And that's what they did. They just ran a gameplay clip that was like 2 minutes long on Twitch, and that was it. So maybe they'll do something similar to that.
By the way.
Yeah, it was pretty choppy and a lot of screen tearing. And it didn't work.
So, of course, NeoGAF used that as a measure of the quality of the game.
So, like, yeah, we're just gonna put this up. I know the game's broken, but people are excited.
Well, no, and Twitch compresses video.
It was the stream, and they said that they're going to be probably releasing a video soon of the direct feed version, or at least that was a rumor. So hopefully that will happen.
So yeah, I mean, I'm getting the vibe. I'm not sure if you guys feel the same way, that this next E3 isn't gonna be as action-packed as especially the last year's, but just in general, I get a feeling we're gonna see a lot of releases that are coming out in 2016. We're not gonna see that many like 2015. We're not gonna see a lot of 2014 releases here.
What you're gonna see this year is you'll see HD ports. Next year's the year for the big AAAs. You're not gonna see a major AAA title come out this fall for either console. There'll be smaller stuff, but nothing on the scale of a Halo or an Uncharted this year.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
We're gonna see maybe like what we were talking about before, some of those titles that were on the previous systems getting up-resed. But yeah, I really don't think we're gonna see it.
Which I guess there's a rumor that the Order might be delayed too.
It's February. Apparently, it's February. Yeah.
Okay, so that's more than a rumor at this point.
Yeah, it's pretty much almost official now that it's going to be February.
Ah, jeez. So what does that leave for the PS4 exclusives besides Drive Club?
That's the thing. Wait for E3. I mean, anyone counting up exclusives or lineups for either console before E3 shouldn't be doing it because there's going to be stuff revealed for this fall at E3.
Yeah.
Right.
For both consoles.
It's just not anything huge.
Nothing huge, no.
Right. It's going to be kind of a. I feel like it's shaping up to be a disappointing year.
I don't
for early adopters.
Yeah.
Well, look at MPDs. Look what sells on MPD. It's all the multi-platform stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Even people with next gen, they're buying Call of Duty. They're buying Battlefield and Assassin's Creed. I mean, that's what's going to be this year. People are going to buy Destiny, Call of Duty, Battlefield SWAT, the Assassin's Creed. It's going to be the same thing as last year. It's just going to be all the multi-platform stuff that's going to sell really well.
Yeah, there is still, although there aren't a lot of exclusive titles, there are a lot of multi-platform games that I think are still worth getting excited about. I mean, I'm personally excited for Dragon Age.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be a great title, and I really don't care what system I play on. I think that's going to be a good game. But yeah, I just don't see
Dragon Age, Middle Earth. We got Batman. I mean, I think people put a lot of weight into exclusive console titles on the systems, but yeah, some are really good. But honestly, sometimes I'm more excited about multi-platform stuff like Batman and even Assassin's Creed. It doesn't matter; those aren't exclusive. Those are great games.
Oh yeah, definitely. I think that the exclusive games, it is cool in the front that you're tailor making a game for the system. So theoretically, it should be something that really harnesses the power of the system. But those games are far and few, and they're a lot more risky than these big multi-platform games. And I think a lot of this, no one can really argue that these games that are coming out multi-platform are really good games. It's just I think it's fun to have a game that justifies your decision in the console war, you know. So.
Yeah.
So yeah, I assume we're gonna have a lot more to talk about. Hopefully, we do get a little bit of information next week. We'll have more to kind of lead up into the E3 stuff. But yeah, I'm just getting the vibe like it's gonna be kind of just the stepping stone between next year, which will be the big E3, where we'll start really seeing stuff. I think we'll get a lot of teasers, but no release dates that are coming out this year or anything truly significant. So yeah. All right, guys. That's it for us this week. Thanks again for listening to us. We are going to be starting up the new site relatively soon, so we'll keep you updated either through Twitter or Facebook or however we can. But the 1985 FM podcast will still be available. We're going to have to switch over that RSS feed. But yeah, so that's it. I'm Randy LaGudice. Thanks again to Vasilis Siskos, who isn't with us anymore. He took off for the night. Lawrence Lawson. He doesn't have his mic on. You can say bye again. It's okay.
There.
Brendan O'Connell.
Good night, everyone.
Jeremy Conrad.
See you next week.
And Nathan Mayer.
Thank you.
See you guys again next week for another episode of the 1985 FM podcast.
Okay, so who's going to go buy 5 pounds of gummy bears?